welcome back to another episode of Supreme Minority. And today I'm just having a bit of a think, just in terms of something from my own experience. And this is something that I have been asked before in terms of what a coach is, what a coach does, because obviously in the industry of health and wellness, there's a plethora of people out there that do offer various different services in various different fields, but would all possibly class themselves as a coach, which led me to think about the definitions of each thing. So I'm going to just start off really from the more medical perspective. So obviously, if you've got a problem, generally you'd go to a doctor, you go to a psychiatrist, you might go to a dietitian, a nutritionist, or perhaps you might go and see a counsellor. So in the terms of my kind of coaching from a mindset perspective, this kind of falls now. So we're going to go through counsellor, a consultant, a mentor and a coach, and what those differences are. And there are some transferability into other areas of fitness and well-being, let's say. So in terms of looking at a counsellor, you're probably going to see a counsellor more for a diagnosis and treatment, generally something that is from past dysfunction. So it's very retrospective looking, it's delving into the past, diving deep and trying to make sense of previous things that have happened in life. So really going deep, what's the meaning of, what's the cause of, generally going through theoretical models, maybe in accordance with the DSM. It's very much focused on past experience and dysfunction. So then moving into more of a consultative definition. And I think this is, for me, where a lot of fitness coaches might actually sit, just personally from my perspective. So a consultant will offer a systematic approach, and they will be the expert in their field, health and wellness. And outcomes generally expected through someone hiring this person, and they are starting at A, they want to get to B, and they basically will ask the consultant their advice and their processes to get them from A to B. They will seek to understand the task itself, and they will come up with a solution and give that solution or them answers to the client, and they will then have an outcome. At the end of that period of time, you would expect to be X, Y, and Z. If you've got a big corporate firm and you're trying to implement perhaps something new, you'd hire an expert consultant in order to get that up and running for you. Or put that into health and wellness terms, you might hire a coach to prep you for stage. You will start from point A. They will tell you exactly what to eat, how to train, when to train. And if you're doing as they say, then you will get to point B, where you'll be on that stage in good condition. So for me, if I was to come back into personal training, nutrition side now and coach people on that front, it's just, it's like saying, Hoover, isn't it, for a vacuum cleaner? It just becomes that word. So I would probably actually rebrand myself as a consultant in that effect. So then we go on to a mentor. Now, a mentor and a coach can sometimes be very interlinked in terms of the words that are used. However, they are actually quite different. And a mentor would be someone that you go and see that's probably an expert in their kind of area of field, but from an experience kind of standpoint. So they're someone generally quite wise and trusted, and they will guide someone of a lower level through a process using their experience. So that happens, especially in the corporate world. You might get mentored by people more senior up above, in terms of like onboarding someone into a new company. You'd be assigned someone to show, how everything works and how the company and the systems work. So that is generally more like wisdomous, experience-based, and a little bit less formal generally with mentoring, and it can last for quite a long period of time too. So then we move on to coaching. Now, coaching in itself, a coach is an expert in being a coach, but not the subject matter that the client presents. So you can coach practically then through anything because the principles used are the same. You are going from A to B with a client, but more effectively than what they would on their own. You're using questions to help them seek and gain clarity. You will help empower them in responsibility and understanding of themselves. You'll help them create an action plan. You won't do it for them, you'll help them create, and you'll also help them overcome obstacles and support them in doing so. And then you will create long-lasting support, and it's very much more future-based is coaching. So for mindset and transformation, I work more from a coaching perspective, but then when people ask more about business coaching, sometimes yes, I will dip into more of a mentor situation then because of past experience. It depends on the client. I'm more of a hybrid. I'll work between. Consulting wise, I don't really see myself as an expert in many fields. I just know about a lot of fields, and I found that the information that I know is applicable then to actually coach people through a plethora of challenges that they might be facing. So in terms of an effective coach, if I was purely just looking from a coaching perspective, for me, I'd want that person to be personable and that you can confide. You can go and ask them anything, and you are that person that someone would ask advice of. In terms of effective communication, you want something to be quite clear, you want to be able to resonate. I mean, I'm not perfect, trust me, I stumble on my words, I'll forget what I wanted to say, but the key is to listen. I used to be very much a person of worry of what I was going to say next to someone, and I'd be overthinking in my head, like, I need to have responses made, but I don't even know what the question is yet. I don't even know what I'm responding to. So now I've learned to take a back seat and just to sit and understand and gain the information and ask more questions. And the main thing for me is to help someone succeed. There's nothing, even just thinking about it now, it just gives me massive goosebumps. To know that you've helped someone get where they want to be, it just makes me tingle. Even now, like, I just get all smiley. This gets me really emotional. And you're seeing the best in people, you're giving something back. So, you're not telling someone what to do, you're helping them have another alternative perspective through asking the right questions to help them seek and gain more information about themselves. And ultimately, you're helping that person be the best version of themselves, as well as myself. It's helping me become the best version of me through learning more about people, more about how these people work and how their brains think. So yeah, in a nutshell, right there, we've gone over the definitions of a counsellor, a consultant, a mentor, and a coach. Obviously, this is information from my perspective as to how I see and view those roles. So yeah, let me know what you think. And if you think you know people that might perhaps be in the wrong category of what they might call themselves, I think it's a very interesting debate, and I think it's now possibly more than ever more open for debate in terms of how people classify themselves to the public, because then at least you've got a better expectation now, hopefully with this information, to know exactly what you should be seeking in that person if they are branding themselves in a certain way. So I hope this helps. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and don't forget, always become your own supreme minority.